In many parts of Johannesburg, bins have been overflowing with rubbish due to non-collection of waste. The entity responsible for this, Pikitup, is currently in the midst of a labour protest. However, a report presented to the Johannesburg Mayoral Committee yesterday says the protest is part of a deeper lying issue within Pikitup. The entity has cash reserves of about 2.1 billion rand. However, it cannot access them as the disbursing of funds lies with its shareholder, the Johannesburg Municipality. In a recent interview on 702, Pikitup's Chief Financial Officer, Lichani Matsila, explained that cash management in the municipality is centralized.
So it has been the issue of the competing interests. When we request that money from the city to then say, we also have debts to pay. Can we get something to pay the debts? For example, 2 weeks ago, there was the issue of ESCOM that needed to be settled. So we have to compete with that ESCOM requirement.
The report tabled before the Mayoral Committee yesterday recommends for Pikitup's revenue to be ring-fenced and spent exclusively on waste collection. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill-Lewis says despite billions already pumped into the metro's sewer network and infrastructure, a lot more work still needs to be done. The views follow a report detailing service delivery failures in parts of the city. The public protector released the report yesterday following a 4-year-long investigation into complaints from residents of Langa's N2 Gateway and Kailicha. The investigation found that the city failed to address overflowing sewage, neglected municipal housing and broken high-mast lighting, denying residents access to basic services. The city of Cape Town has now been given strict deadlines to fix the service delivery failures.
The much bigger complaint is around the state of our sewer infrastructure. We have put many billions of rands in this term of office. In fact, we did the sum 17 billion rand on sewer infrastructure alone this term of office. But we are still far from there. We've brought sewer collapses and sewer spills down 33%. But we have a long way to go to get under full control.
Self-proclaimed political fixer Brown Mokgotsi is taking his bid for bail to the High Court after losing twice in the Johannesburg Regional Court. His lawyer argues that the magistrate misdirected herself in applying the law governing the granting of bail. Mokgotsi was refused bail twice after the court found that the home addresses he provided could not be verified. He was arrested in May in connection with allegedly orchestrating his own hit last year. Dimakatso Lishoro reports.
Mokgotzi's attorney Makao Sekhacha says he expects the High Court to reach a different conclusion, adding there was no basis for the lower court to refuse his client bail.
Address has been verified. Brown Mokgotsi is not a flight risk. The investigating officer has been to the address, confirmed that that particular address exists. So on what basis, actually, that should be the question, was the magistrate refusing bail when the address is actually verified?
Sekhacha says while the defence's ultimate aim is to have Mokgotsi acquitted, it is equally important to secure his release on bail as the trial could take a long time to conclude.
He has a business which, as the head of the family, he is running that particular business. Now, you can just imagine that that particular business is not doing so well now.
Mokgotsi remains in custody facing charges of defeating the ends of justice, perjury, and the unlawful possession of a firearm and ammunition. Dimakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Johannesburg.
And search and rescue operations are continuing in China following devastating storms that have killed 17 people. The extreme weather has caused dozens of rivers to overflow and a reservoir dam to burst. In some regions, thousands of people were evacuated from their homes to shelters built to house those displaced. Eastern provinces are currently preparing for the impact of Super Typhoon Bharvey, which could make landfall between Saturday and Sunday. Bharvey tore through U.S. Pacific territories earlier this week, leaving tens of thousands of people without power. While gold is trading at $4,124.08 an ounce, the rand is at 16.40 to the dollar, 21.90 to the pound, 18.61 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $76.46 a barrel.
Traffic lights still not working in four ways at Winnie Mandela Drive and Monte Casino Boulevard. Also traffic lights out of order in Marlborough at Marlborough Drive and Old Pretoria Road, as well as in Sandton at Greyston and the M1.
It's a fine afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 21 and 22 degrees, and Cape Town is partly cloudy with moderate winds today, peaking at a high of 18 degrees. The top story in EWN, the Health Ombudsman has cleared KZN public health facilities over the deaths of 4 healthcare workers last year.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Mandy Wiener on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Coming up on the show today, the Madlanga Commission hears evidence in camera from witness M. Ron Moti's case is postponed for new evidence. The Health Ombudsman finds KZN hospitals were not responsible for deaths of healthcare workers. Pikitup has money to clean up Joburg streets, it just can't access it. And the Legal Practice Council wants former public protectors struck from the role of advocates. All of that over the next hour.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Report on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Mandy Wiener. Great to be with you today. We'll look at the situation around Pikitup in the city of Joburg. What are your streets looking like wherever you are? Has Pikitup been round to fetch any of your rubbish? A lot of this is to do with funding, right? So there's a labour issue. Now we've got this letter that has been leaked to EWN about the fact that Pikitup has got money. They just can't access it because it's this bizarre thing in the city of Joburg where all the different entities, whatever money there is, goes into one pool. So for like Joburg Water and City Power and Pikitup, your money gets pooled and then you can't access your money. And this is one of the issues that Helen Zilla's been banging on about, is ring fencing money for the utilities, which really should be happening. So tell me what your streets look like. Let me know. Send me a WhatsApp voice note, 072 702 1702, 072 567 1567. And then we'll hopefully chat to the Legal Practice Council as well. They want the former public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, to be struck from the role of advocates. I thought that would have happened already. I mean, she was impeached. I'm sure they've got some pretty good reasons. What do you think? Do you think Busisiwe Mkhwebane should be struck from the role of advocates? Let me know. You can also tweet me at Mandy Wiener. Well, let's start today at the Madlanga Commission because we don't actually know what's going on. It's all happening behind camera, behind closed doors in camera. So witness M, who is a businessman, is giving evidence. Let's find out what he is supposed to be giving evidence about. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter at the Madlanga Commission for us. Alpha, good afternoon to you. Tell us about this application from witness M to testify in camera today.
Good afternoon, Mandy. Witness M submitted an application to testify completely behind closed doors, and in that written application, he states that, first of all, he doesn't want to testify in public because he fears for his life. In fact, he mentioned that he recently noticed 2 vehicles surveilling his home inside a gated community and estate, and was wondering to himself how they were able to access a gated community. And so he believes that his life could be in jeopardy if he goes through with testifying publicly. So they have granted him that in-camera testimony. What we do know from his application is that he's going to be testifying about his involvement in one of the drug busts that the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry has been investigating. You remember, Mandy, that there were a number of drug busts that the Commission has been looking into, which were botched by police and law enforcement agencies as a whole. And so we are not entirely sure which one he's going to be testifying about, but it's in relation to the drug bust. In his application, he states that what his relationship with the owner of one of the shipments was. So it seems this is someone who are, or the person who organized the shipment, and says he's also going to be implicating a number of high-profile individuals, and that is why he doesn't want to testify in public. So all of that is being presented behind closed doors today. We're not entirely sure, Mandy, when the commission will resume with publicly. They did say that they are not sure either, and they'll give direction once they are aware. But between now and tomorrow, possibly, it's all going to happen behind closed doors.
Because we do know that the commission is running out of time. Yesterday we had news that there could potentially be an extension. So do they have a clear schedule of where they're going next and what's going to happen before that 31st of August deadline?
Yes, they have clearly mapped out their plan for the month of July, because the end of July is when they finish with public hearings, and they've set aside August completely for drafting their final report, which needs to be on the president's desk on the 31st of August. So between now and the end of this month, Mandy, we are going to be seeing several people returning to the commission. Towards the last week of July, we will see the likes of Senzo Mkhunu and Nkam Kwanazi returning to the hot seat at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry for Part 3, which is getting those central figures back to answer certain questions. And between now and then, we are expecting the people that they haven't been able to get to testify to come, the likes of Mike van Wyk, who couldn't come, Suleiman Karim, who's due on the 15th, Kat Matala, who's also due on the 15th of July. So a really, really tight deadline that they are working on at the moment.
Alpha, thank you so much. Alpha Ramashwana, EWN reporter. Stay tuned for all of that evidence that's still to come. Well, take a listen to the Madlanga Commission and Justice Madlanga handing down that judgment today on that application for witness M to testify in camera.
Yes, we've read the application and we are satisfied that it should be granted. But I propose that rather than go through all the paragraphs of the order, I should just grant an order that says the application is granted. I'm doing that because we usually have, in fact, it may be only from the last one. Others have followed the format of your order. So there's nothing wrong with the format of your order, nothing at all. But I want to grant an order that will even list at the end the people who are allowed to be at the fully in-camera hearing. So if you could just add something like that. And
That's Justice Madlanga handing down that decision earlier today. So witness M, a businessman, testifying in camera about one of the drug busts that has been before the commission.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
The self-proclaimed political fixer Brown Moti appearing in court today, his case being postponed to next month to give his team time to consult on new evidence. Dimakatso Leshoro, EWN reporter, was in court for us. Dimakatso, good afternoon to you. Tell us about what happened in court today.
Hi, Mandy. So today we were expecting the trial date to be set, but that didn't happen. When we arrived in court, Mokhotzi's lawyers said that they wanted time to consult on the video footage that was given to the state. As you recall, last time the state did disclose some of the evidence that they have against Mokhotzi, but we understand that the evidence includes stills or pictures and video footage as well as witnesses, so witness statements. So some of that footage of that evidence was outstanding, and it was handed in to the defense today. So they complained about, restrictions with regards to correctional services, that they are not allowed to take in laptops or any other equipment of that nature to go and consult over that footage, and ask the court for additional time or an order to compel correctional services to allow them in with laptops, but the court did not entertain that one and instead said that they will postpone the matter for Mokhotzi and his team to consult over the footage that has been handed over by the state. It's not new evidence, but it's evidence that has been handed over to Mokhotzi that has been in the possession of the state.
Okay. So, Brown Moti, how does he look? How's he holding up?
He looks fine. But what was surprising today is that we heard from his attorney that they are now appealing. I mean, I think if you recall, prior to them doing the second bail application, we had expected the appeal, but we understand that today they are lodging the appeal. I actually saw part of the affidavit, so it's there, it's done. And when I asked Mr. Sakhacha, he said that they will be lodging that today. And when I asked him about the basis of the appeal, because as you recall, Mandy, he's been denied bail on 2 occasions because of the issue of the address. I mean, the first time we were told that he had given investigators 3 addresses. They've denied this. They say they only gave 1 address, and there was an error with the numbers. And, you know, when the investigating officer went to these 3 addresses to confirm, Mokgotsi they were not able to identify that he lived there or any of his clothing even in those properties. And then they took a second bite at the bail application and saying that they had new facts, but in fact there were no new facts that they presented to court. But what we had instead was interference by Mokgotsi through his wife, who went to one of what we understand could be a witness, and tried to intimidate her to corroborate their version in terms of the address. And the court then denied the application because of the issue of the address, but also the state has raised the issue of interfering with witnesses and making reference to this incident where Mokgotsi's wife is now facing a charge of intimidation because she went to this woman's address, who's a neighbor, we understand, to corroborate their version, even though she had refused. So, you know, we don't know at this stage on what basis they're going to the High Court. Mr. Sakhacha says that the magistrate misapplied the law in terms of the release of a suspect on bail. And he says that because the trial is expected to take a long time, they don't want him to be attending trial while he's in custody because he has a business and this business is suffering. Whether or not they will succeed, we don't know. My suspicion is that the reason they want this long postponement is because the initial postponement that was postponed, the date that was postponed by the state was the 20th of July, and they refused that and said they are not available. It's because they want to go and lodge their appeal. Remember, they don't need the magistrate's court to approve their leave to appeal because this is not a conviction. It's a bail application, so they can just go directly to the High Court. So they want, I suspect, they want that time to do that. So here we are.
Well, Dimakatso, here we are indeed. Thank you very much, Dimakatso Leshoro, EWN reporter, with an update there on the Brown Mokgotsi case.
Clever excuses for being late, number 94. I ran out of petrol and had to push my car to the petrol station. Fortunately, with the Outsurance pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
Welcome to Nando's Taste-Demonials.
It's the flavor!
Real reviews by real people. Nico from Kailami is in touch with his emotions. So when we asked about the Nando's Peri Peri half chicken and a single side for only $1.25, he said,
I'm sad. I finished it.
Nikos, ungawari. Because this chicken season has more episodes. Nando's. Oh, what a place.
I'm Zola Nene, working with Ladies of Love to nourish small children who need our helping hands. Join us at Ladies of Love's Mandela Day hands-on events at DHL Stadium on 17 July or Johannesburg Expo Centre on 22nd July and spend 67 minutes hand-making items to grow our future leaders. Tickets are 300 Rand and this gives a child healthy meals for a month. Be a hands-on hero. Visit ladiesoflove.org.za for tickets today.
Small businesses are anything but small. They're the backbone of our communities. The dreamers, the doers, the ones who keep Mzansi moving forward. That's why 702 and Capitec Business Banking are putting them in the spotlight. Every Thursday between 6 and 8 p.m. Catch Small Business Focus with Capitec, where we showcase the hustle, heart, and the secrets to thriving in today's economy. Your vision matters, and with Capitec, you're never building it alone. Small Business Focus with Capitec, the business bank for everyone. Thursdays between 6 and 8 p.m. on 702. Capitec Bank is an authorized FSP 46669.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Hi, Mandy. It's TZ here. I gotta say, every Wednesday I go to Alexander, and since I've been going there, there's water running down the road by this old aged home called Itlokumaleng and this nursery school. I just wish there was some way they could report to someone, clean up those streets. There was a lady cleaning this morning, but they really need to get that running water. It looks dirty, so it could be sewer. It just doesn't smell, so maybe it's fresh water, but I just wish someone would fix it.
So many issues with leaks in Joburg. We know how much water is lost through leaks. And again, this is a city power issue. One of the other issues we're looking at today is Pikitup. And I've been asking the question whether or not your rubbish has been collected in Joburg because of this issue with Pikitup. So there's a Labour issue, but then there was a Joburg mayoral committee yesterday meeting about this. Now we've got a leaked document which tells us about the financial situation of Pikitup. Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter, joining us in studio. So Tabiso, just remind us, what's going on with Pikitup? Why is rubbish not being collected in Joburg?
Good afternoon, Mandy. So there's a short and a long version answer. The short answer is that there's a labor protest. One, it's workers from Pikitup who are protesting, but also service providers that work for Pikitup who are also protesting. So that's why in many parts, especially around Randburg, many parts of Johannesburg, the rubbish has not been picked up. Now, the longer version is that there are deep systematic issues within Pikitup. As you mentioned, there was a mayoral committee meeting yesterday where there was a report that served on it, which basically outlines the financial problems within Pikitup. And much of the problems require money. So the problems is that Pikitup has about 2.1 billion rand in cash reserves, but it cannot access it. It cannot access it because the Johannesburg municipality has a central cash management system. That means all money that's generated, whether it's from Pikitup, City Power, Joburg Water, it goes into a central fund, and then from that central fund, then there's a decision over how that money is going to be spent. The CFO, the Chief Financial Officer of Pikitup, was recently interviewed here on 702, and he explained that over the past couple of weeks, there was an issue about the Eskom debt, where there was a lot of money, a lot of revenue from the city of Johannesburg that was spent towards Eskom. But even though while City Power generates a lot of revenue, it can't use that revenue. And it needs to use that revenue because a majority of its fleets are aging. They are past their sell-by dates. And because they are past their sell-by dates, they are prone to breakdowns. And because they are prone to breakdowns, then that results in a lot of rubbish not being collected on time. And another problem that's also is a result of that is that City Power now has to rely on a lot of private contractors and a lot of private service providers. I believe that the CFO said that they have about 300 waste collection trucks. About 60 of them belong to City Power, and the rest, about 240, belong to private waste contractors. So it's a major issue in the fact that City Power doesn't have its own fleet.
City Power or Pikitup?
Sorry, Pikitup.
Okay,
sorry, I'm
Pikitup.
sorry. Pikitup. It has about 300 waste trucks. About 60 of them belong to Pikitup, and about 200 and something belong to private contractors. So the issue here is that Pikitup doesn't have its own fleet, and the fleet that it does have, most of its fleet is past its sell-by date, and it has to replenish the fleet. And we go back to the original problem.
So long story short, what you're saying is that the bulk of Pikitup's fleet is outsourced, right?
The fleet has a lifespan of about 12 years, and most of
they're
its
using
fleets,
private contractors.
Yes.
And they can't pay the private contractors because they can't access the money because it all gets pooled in the central fund.
Exactly.
Bizarre
It's a
situation.
cycle. It's literally a cycle of problems. And so there was a solution that was brought forward in this report that we have seen. The report recommends that all revenue generated by Pikitup gets ring-fenced, in a sense that whatever money Pikitup does generate, it goes towards Pikitup problems. So it goes towards the replenishment of aging infrastructure, it goes towards the hiring of more workers, and also the hiring of more Pikitup services. But then obviously this was presented at the mayoral committee. It will still have to be presented at the council meeting as a full council, and then it will have to be voted on, and that takes its own entire process.
Oh, Tabiso, thank you so much. Tabiso Goba, EWN reporter. Okay, so, I mean, this is the big issue, is the ring fencing of funds. That's why entities are struggling so much. So at the same time, National Treasury today gave a briefing on its decision to withhold the July equitable share transfers to 69 municipalities, which include the city of Joburg. So Treasury reiterating that they are working with these municipalities. They're saying that this decision to withhold funding will not affect service delivery. More than 13 billion rand in funding being withheld as part of efforts to enforce fiscal discipline and improve financial measurement. Take a listen to Treasury's Intergovernmental Relations Chief Director, Okgalatseng Garekwe, speaking about this.
With regards to how much, we've only withheld 13.5 billion. And you can imagine, obviously, the overall equitable share of municipalities is, for this new financial year, is 110 billion. So it's only 13.5 billion that has been withheld. And how long, as I said, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, it could be a month, depending on how the responsiveness of the municipality. And for Joburg, the withheld is 3.6 billion. Really, what's next? I mean, learning from the experience of last year, because even last year this time, we had withheld the funds for a number of municipalities. Probably they were withheld for 75. But I can assure you that within early August, we had already released the money for everyone. So it depends on how fast the municipalities sort out the payment plans and sending us those payment plans, and us releasing a portion of those funds to them. And then once they release a portion, they go straight and pay that particular pension fund, Auditor General or Water Board. And once they've done that, then we release the whole amount for them to continue. And we're not expecting it to impact service delivery, because, as you would know, majority of the funding at local government level, they raise it from own revenue.
That is Treasury explaining its reasons earlier today, the Intergovernmental Relations Chief Director, about why they are withholding funds and how the municipalities can get those funds. On the WhatsApp line, Mandy, our rubbish has not been collected for over 2 weeks. This is directly due to the wanton theft, corruption and incompetence by the ANC cadres within the Joburg Metro. The chickens are coming home to roost, and corruption continues, with Pikitup using independent contractors who are most certainly corrupt and thieving ANC cadres. The wanton theft and corruption continues unabated. What's your experience been of rubbish being collected? Are you also waiting for yours to be picked up by the contractors, probably, if they get paid? 12:30, time for Eyewitness News headlines.
Thanks, Mandy. Good afternoon. The Health Ombud has cleared KZN public hospitals over the deaths of 4 healthcare workers last year. The office was probing claims that the deaths recorded in the province's health facilities were linked to working conditions, workplace bullying, and even victimization. Health Ombud Professor Taule Mokoena briefed journalists on the findings in Pretoria earlier today, following the deaths which sparked concern about working conditions in the public healthcare sector. Former Higher Education Minister Nomuhle Nkabane has been elected to chair Parliament's Agriculture Committee in an acting capacity until after the recess. The position was left vacant after the previous chairperson, Dina Pule, was sworn in as Social Development Minister last week. The committee's first order of business in the new term will be for all provincial MECs to report back on their response to the foot and mouth disease. And Cape Town Mayor Jordan Hill Lewis says despite billions of rands already pumped into the Metro's sewer network, a lot more work still needs to be done. The views follow a report detailing service delivery failures in parts of the city. The Public Protector released a report yesterday following a 4-year-long investigation into complaints from residents of Langa's N2 Gateway flats as well as Khayelitsha. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 1 or as it happens.
EWN Sport.
Good afternoon, I'm Mawanda Mateza. The FIFA World Cup quarter-final lineup is complete after Argentina and Switzerland booked the last 2 places. The defending champions earned their spot with a dramatic 3-2 victory over Egypt in their round of 16 match, with 3 goals in the last 11 minutes after trailing 2-0. The Swiss side is through to the first quarter-final since 1954 following a penalty shootout win against Colombia.
Mwanda, you can't just rock up in the studio having been at the World Cup for the past few weeks without telling us what it was like and what happened.
Experience of a lifetime. Fantastic energy, especially in Mexico. I enjoyed that a lot more than the games in the US. Crowds are very hospitable, warm, lively, and also got to witness history with Bafana making it through to the knockout stages for the very first time. That particular encounter and that particular day and before and after just was the most amazing experience I've
had. I'm interested. There seems to be a lot of cynicism about the World Cup, it being rigged, Donald Trump's phone call, all of that stuff. So that's like in the kind of like diaspora.
Yeah.
In America, does it feel different?
You always knew that off-field issues were going to take the center stage and make the headlines at this particular World Cup. However, funny enough, when you get to the games and then football is the central focus, things change just a little bit. People want to be there for the football. It does put a stain on things, but it's going to sound cliche and like I'm entering Miss World or something, but the best of humanity is on show at the World Cup. And when it comes to mixing and having all these people come together for just the game itself, it becomes such an amazing thing. And it's one of those things as well that luckily FIFA have a product that can override and overshadow all the bad or negative headlines that do take center stage, unfortunately. But yeah, it's how it is.
Well, now you're back to reality and you have to read Sports Bulletin. Sorry.
I wouldn't mind that at all. But yeah, the quarterfinals do get underway tomorrow with France taking on Morocco. The IOC has provisionally lifted its ban on the Russian Olympic Committee. The decision paves the way for a possible return to international competitions, including the Los Angeles 2028 Olympic Games. That suspension has been in place since 2023 due to Russia's ongoing war with the Ukraine. There's no decision yet on whether Russia will be allowed to display its flag, colors, and have their national anthem played at the Olympics. IOC President Kirsty Coventry.
We wanted to ensure all athletes have the possibility to compete at the Olympic Games and not be held responsible for their government's actions. And I believe that this is what this decision speaks to. It allows for Russian athletes to take part, but we've also been very clear that we do not condone any violence and war around the world.
And the Wimbledon quarterfinals conclude today. In the women's singles, 9th seed Linda Noskova plays Elise Mertens from 2 p.m., while 12th seed Marta Kostyuk will be up against former finalist Jasmine Paolini. That's from 2:30. In the men's singles, 6th seed Taylor Fritz plays 2nd seed Alexander Zverev, and 9th seed Flavio Cobolli takes on unseeded Brit Arthur Ferry. Mawanda Mateza, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Well, at this stage in Bosmont, heading towards Soweto, there's slow-moving traffic. This is due to an accident seen on the N17, on the N1 southbound before the N17, causing huge delays all the way from Albertina Sisulu. In Irene, traffic remains sluggish on Main Road, approaching Napiers Drive. Also, back to Ekurhuleni, there's slow-moving traffic. That's in the Germiston Bedford View area. N3 southbound between the Geldenays Interchange and Kilulis. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Marlborough Drive and Old Pretoria Road, as well as in Sandton at Grayston and the M1. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
702. Mandy Wiener.
Weekdays, 12 to 1 p.m.
12:36 on the Midday Report with me, Mandy Wiener. Yesterday we had the Public Protector Advocate Koleka Qaleka releasing this report into Langa and Khayelitsha and service delivery failures. She has also said that the timing of her report into these service delivery failures will not be influenced by the political calendar. Obviously, various political parties reacting to this already. The report following an investigation into conditions at the N2 Gateway housing project in Langa, the relocation of families in Khayelitsha, and the safety at municipal clinics. The report finding that residents have been living with overflowing sewage, poorly maintained housing, broken street lights, and inadequate security at health facilities. Well, let's get some reaction to this now with Sifiso Mtweni, who's the ANC provincial spokesperson in the Western Cape. Sifiso, good afternoon to you. Thanks very much for your time today. What is your reaction to what many are describing as a damning report?
Good afternoon, Mandy, and to your listeners. Indeed, what the public protector found yesterday is what we've always known, it's what we've always communicated, that the DA in the Western Cape has been fooling people around the myth of a clean governance and effective governance. The people of Khayelitsha, the people of Langa, the people of Gugulethu, and the people of Delft have not experienced any effective governance. Indeed, the public protector found in Khayelitsha and in Langa that their service delivery collapses, and that in the last 14 years, the city has done nothing to really just assist our people with basic services. And we really just welcome that report and condemn the behavior of the DA government in Cape Town.
Sifiso, what would you like to see happening now with regard to the city responding to the findings?
Well, the remedial actions are quite clear that the city has a constitutional obligation to ensure that it renders basic services to our people. This is not something that is a sort of a favor that the city must do. It's something that the city is obligated by the Constitution to do. Our city caucus has already written to the mayor to ensure that the remedial actions of the public protector are implemented. We are also exploring other options such as legal action to ensure that the city actually also pays reparation for the people of Khayelitsha and Langa and ensure that the municipality does what it's supposed to do. But on the other side, I think we do not have confidence in the Democratic Alliance City of Cape Town to be able to deliver those particular services. That's why we are calling on the people of Cape Town to completely reject the DA in this upcoming local government elections.
It's inevitable that this will be politicized in a local government election year. How do you see this impacting on campaigning and the message of the ANC? I mean, you just said that you're hoping that they reject the DA.
Yes, it's quite clear that the DA has no interest in governing the people of Cape Town as a whole, people of the Western Cape as a whole. I mean, before this public protector finding, you are aware that the Constitutional Court has found the provincial government of the DA to have also broken the law in selling off the Tafelberg land, which was supposed to be for social housing. They've also been found to have spent 129 billion in irregular expenditure in the city of Cape Town. So in this week alone, we've also found out that the DA, through Tony Leon and his propaganda machine, have been spreading messages that are misleading whilst they are busy pillaging of the government and stealing money through tenders that are going to Tony Leon. So what has become quite clear outside of what the public protector has said is that the Democratic Alliance has now been exposed for the farce that it is, for an organization that did not have the interest of the people at heart, but only serving the interest of the people of Constantia and Bishop's Court.
Sifiso, thank you very much. Sifiso Mtweni, ANC provincial spokesperson in the Western Cape. As you can well expect, this is going to be a really politicized issue. It's been a bad week for the city of Cape Town. We've had that Tafelberg judgment. We've had the public protector report as well. Reacting on the WhatsApp line. Hello, Mandy. Well, the report on service delivery, etc. in Cape Town. Timing is everything as local government elections are this year. And your guest confirmed that. What about the rest of the country, which is just as bad, if not worse? How long long ago was this investigation done? That's from Bernadette. Sheldon says, hi Mandy, please ask your ANC commentator when last he's been to Mangaung, Soweto, etc. Throwing stones whilst living in glass houses. I think the CC must do better, but they're doing better than the ANC in other provinces. I travel to other provinces regularly and it is much the same. So as you can anticipate, this is going to be a very, very topical issue going into the local government elections.
7:02.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
Let's walk the talk.
Some breaking news coming in the last couple of minutes. US President Donald Trump has been speaking at the NATO summit in Turkey, and he has effectively said that the US-Iran ceasefire is over. After both countries exchanged strikes, he said, I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. That's a verbatim quote. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. He has said that the negotiations on both sides can continue to talk, but I think they're wasting their time. Take a listen to this audio from Sky News.
I told them every time you hit, we hit. And of course, they're dirty players, so they go after everyone, probably including me. I've been number one on their list for years. And they're a bunch of scum, you want to know the truth. They're scum. And so we don't like them. I don't like them. And they're evil people, and it's the denuclearization of Iran. And we're going to denuke it. We're not going to let them because they're crazy. But these are evil, sick people, and we have to rid their cancer. They're cancer. And you know what you do? You got to cut out cancer early. And that's the way I feel. I spoke with UK, and the Prime Minister said, well, we don't want to help you now, but we'll help you when the war's over. I said, that's not good. In fact, I'm very upset with NATO that we pay far, far too much. Billions and billions of dollars too much because it's unfair, because we're protecting them. So we protect them, but they're not there for us. Think of it. I didn't speak to Spain. Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore, by the way. I'd like you to cut it off. Spain is a terrible partner in NATO.
Is the ceasefire done? Is the MOU dead?
It's a very interesting question. To me, I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. You know what scum is? They're scum. They're sick people. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. I'll speak to our negotiators. They want to negotiate. They're good people. Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner. But they have to come back to me. As far as I'm concerned, it's just a waste of time dealing with them. They're liars. We make a deal. And if I make a deal with him, we have a deal. And he goes out, he talks. We make a deal. Everyone's agreed. No nuclear weapon. We make a deal. They go outside, talk to the press. They say, we never even talked about it. There's something wrong with them. They're cuckoo.
They're cuckoo. They're sick people. They're scum. US President Donald Trump speaking at the NATO summit in Turkey, saying that the Iran deal is over. The ceasefire is over.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
Sporting Bet's Millionaires Cup is live, and your shot at up to 10 million rand is on the line. A pass, a tackle, a strike. Moments make the game. This one could make you. Take on a series of thrilling missions and climb your way to millionaire status with every stage of the tournament. Bet now at sportingbet.co.za. Could you be our next millionaire? Sporting Bet. Betting amplified. T's and C's apply. Sporting Bet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No under 18s may gamble. WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710 or contact the SARGF toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008. Winners know when to stop.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care. We cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is not a medical scheme and the cover is not the same. FlexiCare is underwritten by R2bn General, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, an authorized FSP.
WhatsApp Mandy
on 072 702 1702.
Afternoon, Mandy. Our area is Rhodocrans held a crane. So that area normally gets picked up on Wednesday. But for the past 2 months, our Wednesday now has fallen to Thursday because they are constantly running behind. And unfortunately, this side, we've got a very proactive councillor in the Rhodocrans Held Crane area who gives us heads up whenever Pikitup is having these issues. So yeah, it's always a day late.
Good day, Mandy. I'm calling from the Val, Vanderbilt Park. We live in a complex and our rubbish is never picked up. Our caretaker has to pay somebody privately to come and do it, which affects our levies. So plus we pay our rates and taxes and everything to the municipality. I don't think anything can be worse than Vanderbilt Park. Thank you, Evelini.
Thank you very much for those WhatsApp voice notes. On the WhatsApp line, can the City of Cape Town get into the areas mentioned to do any of the work required? The locals in charge make it so dangerous. And then Gail says, Cape Talk must get their facts straight. This report was done years ago. Do yourself a favour, Gauteng, and this guest you had on your programme, all disinformation. Get the Mayor of Cape Town to reply. Don't make a narrative. We have to offer the ANC comment. I mean, it's so funny. I get hammered for being a pro-DA. The ANC also has a statement and an opportunity to respond. The Mayor of Cape Town, I think, has been on the radio station and is on the radio station regularly. And the Public Protector making it clear that this report was done some time ago. So there's all the information for you. Thank you very much for your comments. 12:48. Thank you very much for listening to us. Let's move on now to the South African Health Ombudsman, who has been releasing another report. So the Health Ombud, Professor Taule Mokoena, briefing the media on the findings of a joint investigation into a series of deaths involving healthcare professionals at public health facilities in KZN. We are joined now by Professor Mokoena, the Health Ombud. Prof, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for making time for us.
Good night, and thank you for having me.
So, Prof, firstly, take us through the catalyst for this investigation.
Well, the catalyst was that there were a number of young doctors, to be exact, who died within a short period of time, and the Minister of Health put a request that we should investigate one that happened at Prince Mshweni of Dr. Mazwi, and then the previous chair of the Parliamentary Health Portfolio Committee on Health, Dr. Zlomo, also asked us to investigate a death of a doctor in Vryheid. And while we were doing that, the PSA, Public Service Association, they also pointed out other deaths that they thought are worthy of investigation.
Right.
So that's how it came about, yes.
Take us through your findings, if you can.
Well, let me start by saying that there was an undercurrent or a suggestion that these doctors died because they were being bullied. They were not allowed to take time off when they're sick and so on. What we found is that these doctors, they died of natural causes, and these natural causes are not linkable to their conditions of work certainly not any bullying that was being touted in the public media. Indeed, as far as Dr. Mazu is concerned, which was the index case, that he was forced to work while he was not feeling well by his supervisors. That was a fabrication, and the WhatsApp that was purportedly between him and his senior were a fabrication. That doctor died of a natural cause, and died not at work. He died in his place of residence. And then the one other doctor or two doctors committed suicide. The one doctor who would think committed suicide by carbon monoxide poisoning had issues of mental health, and of course he was not being treated for his mental health. So we found that an omission by the hospital of not examining and properly initiating doctors on employment. And the other suicide, the doctor swallowed rat poisoning. The circumstances around that was that there was a fraudulent registration of bag that or his signature, although he himself was not responsible for the registration of false registration of a bag.
So Prof, have you made any recommendations?
Yeah, there are several recommendations that we've made. Above all, let's start by the employee wellness program. Like I've just said that this other doctor who had a mental health problems. If there was a good employee wellness program, his problem could have been picked up and he could have been given support and management of his health condition, and therefore we believe would not have committed suicide. Now, the lack of employee wellness program is not just in one hospital; it permeates in all the hospitals, and so we have recommended that that employee wellness program must be beefed up. It must be well resourced, and the employees, not just doctors, the employees must be trained to approach a wellness program and look after their own health in the first instance.
Prof, I'm afraid we are out of time. We have to leave it there. Professor Taule Mokoena, the South African Health Ombudsman, unpacking the findings in relation to these KwaZulu-Natal hospitals.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
The Legal Practice Council is bringing an application in court for the former public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane, to be struck from the role of advocate. Let's find out why with Ignatius Briel, who's the Gauteng director at the LPC. Ignatius, good afternoon to you. Thank you very much for your time. What are your grounds for asking for Busisiwe Mkhwebane to be struck from the role?
Thank you. So I think the genesis of this application comes from the various judgments that have been issued by the courts against Advocate Mkhwebane, and those mainly relate to her conduct in the investigations on the South African Reserve Bank lifeboat investigation, Vrede Dairy Project, the SARS Rogue Unit, the CR17 investigation. And what the courts have found in many of those matters is that Advocate Mqwebane had been acting irrationally. She misunderstood fundamental legal principles. In some instances, she exceeded her statutory powers. But I think for the Legal Practice Council, the main thing is that if we look cumulatively at the impact of these judgments, it appears that there might be a situation where Advocate Mqwebane might not be fit and proper to act or to practice anymore. The one very important thing that I need to stress, it's not for the LPC to decide whether Advocate Mqwebane is fit and proper to act. This is ultimately something that is decided by court. And the role of the LPC is whenever there's a suspicion that somebody is no longer fit and proper, that the LPC brings this to the attention of the court to make a decision on the matter.
So you have an obligation as the LPC to bring the application. It's up to the court to decide. Can I ask why now? Was there a catalyst that led to you to bring this application?
No, it's not a question of a catalyst at this stage. This matter had been coming for quite a substantial period of time. In 2024 already, we had written to Advocate Mqwebane to ask her to provide input on any reasons why she feels that the LPC should not approach the courts. She did not make use of that opportunity. She never responded to our correspondence. Unfortunately, the processes in the LPC do take a bit of time, and it was just a matter of taking the allegations through the processes.
Ignatius, thank you so much. Ignatius Briel, Gauteng Director at the Legal Practice Council.
Clever excuses for being late, number 95. I had load shedding and couldn't charge my phone, so I didn't have an alarm. Fortunately, with the Outsurance Pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
Make sure that your life-changing donation goes exactly where it's meant to. With Izinga Assist, you can give with complete confidence because every donation is secure, transparent and traceable. Funds are safely managed through a dedicated ShopRite Money Market account and you'll receive clear proof showing the impact of your contribution. Give with trust today at izassist.org. Izinga Assist. Doing good, done better. Proudly supported by Primedia Cares.
At Specsavers, we're committed to offering affordable and professional eye care. That's why we're offering 1,500 Rand worth of savings with our winter promotion. Get a free frame up to the value of 1,500 Rand or use the 1,500 Rand on one of our leading vision enhancements, like Climate Eyes, which automatically adapts to changing light. To qualify, simply purchase a comprehensive eye examination and prescription frame and lenses. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
702, the Midday Report, Monday to Friday.
12 to 1 p.m.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. I'll be off for the rest of the week. Jane Dutton will be holding the fort for you. So thank you very much to her. It is 1 o'clock. Time for Eyewitness News.
This is EWN.
Health Ombud clears KZN hospitals over worker deaths and Pikitup fails to keep up with service delivery in Johannesburg. Good afternoon. Healthcare facilities were linked to working conditions, workplace bullying and even victimization. Health Ombud Professor Taule Mokoena briefed journalists on the findings in Pretoria today following the deaths, which sparked concern about working